decided to try to do a voiceover on this one. See how that turns out. So this one is all about my sister's church, which is on the other side of the state of Vermont. Has been having difficulty lately. They lost their pastor, and I've done a little bit of fill-in speaking at my own church, and so she asked if I could come over and do fill-in one Sunday. So I said I would. So my cousin Laura and I went over. Laura came along because she and I do a little singing in our church, and I delivered the message over there this Sunday. Today is Sunday. It's Sunday evening right now. And so this is just a little review of our trip over there, a few clips out of the message. Then we went to my sister's house for dinner. My niece, brother-in-law, and my father were there. And a good time was had by all, I think. I know I had a good time. So I want to make it clear that since this vlog is a Vermonter in the Philippines, I'm not in the Philippines, as I've said before. At the present time, I am still a Vermonter, however, so ergo it is somewhat about me and the things I do. And this is one thing I do. Now, I am not by any means attempting to proselytize or convert or do anything. One thing I will not do, three things I will not do is discuss politics, religion, or sex. So that's just the way I am. However, this episode is part of my current life, and so I thought I'd share it with you. Lucky for you, you have a off, stop, pause, and what have you button, and feel free to use that. But I do hope you enjoy at least the trip over. We drive through a couple of typical Vermont towns on the way over, and there's a view of the church, and well, I'll talk a little bit more, do a little more voiceover once we get there. Okay.
So we're coming into Bridgewater, Vermont, which is not a big town, but you got to be careful because if you'll notice, the speed limit is 25, and it certainly is. Now this is Sunday morning, so it'll be quiet. There's an old mill here that they've converted into shops, and there's a pizza parlor in there and what have you. But usually right here by the fire station where that flag is, there's often a sheriff sitting there, and they will pull you over. Yes, sir, they will. I think that's how the town makes a lot of their money, is collecting fees. Small town, pretty. Now, you can't tell, but I'm not driving. Cousin Laura is driving, and for some reason she thinks whatever I'm saying is funny. Just keep your eyes open, that's all I can tell you. Now, this blue place here is for sale if anybody wants to start a business. Yeah, that's good. Now this, we drove through, on the way to Burlington that time, we had driven through West Topsham, and of course that didn't take long. Bridgewater's quite a lot bigger, or at least this is, yeah, Bridgewater. And so I don't know if I may have to condense this down, speed it up or something, because I don't want to use up too much of the vlog driving through town like that. But luckily, we're through town now, so we'll pick it up again later. So just to continue with our little travel thing here, this is another town. This is Bridgewater Corners country store. I told you when we went through Topsom that all the stores in Vermont are called country stores because they figure they'll catch the tourists. Long Trail Brewery there, if any of you are into beer, they make Long Trail beer. Well, that was Bridgewater Corners. Yeah. So this is the West Rutland, I think it's a Congregational church. Steeple goes way in the heck up there in the air. I'm shaking a little bit because I'm just hand holding this, and what was the temperature? 7? Something like that.
With a breeze.
Anyway.
So as you go in the church, you'll see a bulletin board and a lot of pictures and what have you on the bulletin board. And as you look there, you'll see there's a picture, I'll show a close-up here in a second, of actually it's a choir standing on the church steps. I believe this is 1943. Now the second row, the girl on the far right, I should say second row from the top, a girl on the far right is my Aunt Grace, who is Laura's mother, and in the next row down, there are 3 girls. The one in the middle is my Aunt Alice, and on the bottom row, the 2 ladies, the one to the far left, is my grandmother. In 1943, they went to that particular church. Another picture on the bulletin board is of my father, and shows a picture of Corporal Donald Shedd, who served in the U.S. Marine Corps infantry soldier during the invasion of Guadalcanal, New Britain, and Peleliu from 43 to 46. And at the time the picture was taken, he was 93. He's 94 now, and so there's a connection to that church.
But I think we need to remember that Christ was also human. As we just heard in the New Testament lesson, 26, 36, and 46 of Matthew, specifically verse 39. He went a little farther and fell on his face and prayed, saying, "O my Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, not as you will." And you may remember that he actually made that prayer 3 times. For another example, I remember back in 1970, I was a senior at the University of Vermont. Vietnam War was raging. I was hoping and praying not to get involved in the whole mess. But I won the lottery. Yeah. My number was 36, which, if you recall, meant I was going. There wasn't any getting around. I was going. I was going to be drafted. Now, at that point, in the scheme of things, I would be a college grad by the time I left. I think this was August or something when they drew the numbers and graduation was coming up. I forget the exact timing, but anyway, I was going to be a college grad. I would have been drafted into the Army because that's where they needed people. Probably would have gotten a commission because I had a college education. probably would have gone to Vietnam. And at that stage of things, there was a lot high likelihood, a very high likelihood, I would have been killed within a few weeks. And look where you would have been at that point. I wouldn't be here. So I guess God didn't answer my prayer that time. So after a lot of thought and more prayer, I decided to enlist in the Navy. I didn't raise any numbers. I'd be in for 4 years instead of the 2 if I got drafted. But I figured in the Navy, I'd be on board ship, tour the Mediterranean, eat good Navy food, tour Italy, Greece, south of France. Cool. So off I go to boot camp. Incidentally, Great Lakes, Michigan in January, February. Go outside, that's where we were. Yeah, cold. Lovely. So, in boot camp, we all take a bunch of tests. And it's decided that I have an aptitude for language. Great. Italian sounded good to me. I mean, I was halfway there. Ciao, fettuccine, Lamborghini, spaghetti, I got it. But the Navy decided I should learn a different language. Okay, Spanish, ¿Cómo estás? Got that one too. French, ¿Cómo te va? Beautiful. I wish Sarah was here. Greek, ¿Pos ese? They all mean the same thing. I'll have to check with her. So I'm figuring, it's okay, I got it. I can learn these languages. So, what language do you think they picked for me? North Vietnamese. Yeah. Ciao ba. Come here, quack home. Okay, so God didn't answer that prayer either. I spent nearly a year learning North Vietnamese, end up on a base in the Philippines, and then quickly off to Da Nang, Republic of Vietnam. Oh, it's not answering prayers. Yeah. So here I'm in the Navy, stationed on an Air Force base, by the way, in Da Nang, Vietnam, flying up and down the coast of North Vietnam, not an Italian, Frenchman, Spaniard, or Greek in sight. So much for prayers, right? 42 years later, I still talk to her more than Ralph. Yeah, we got married there in the Philippines while I was in the Navy. When I got out of the Navy, we went back to the Philippines. I ended up studying physical therapy, which is another story of me wanting one thing and God knowing something else would be better. A house girl, Nora, and I have a wonderful son, Blair, wonderful daughter-in-law, Sarah, and yes, it can be confusing at times. It can be Sarah's. 3 wonderful grandkids, Devin, Madeline, and Xander, and I have had so far about a 38-year career as a physical therapist. None of that would have happened if I had gotten my way. I'll bet that most, if not all of you, could come up with a similar story about when you hoped and prayed for one thing and got another. But what you got, in hindsight, turned out to be better than what you had originally wanted. Whether we know it or not, our prayers are always answered. Amen.
Yeah,
I'll get everybody here.
Yeah, here we are,
Yeah.
Sunday afternoon.
Wishing you were here and enjoying this.
Right, and this is Sister Karen and niece Sarah and our friendly neighborhood pineapple upside-down cake.
Oh, don't hurt me.
And Laura and brother-in-law Bob,
Okay,
cousin
Laura.
Laura, and then
What? Is that
the
good?
patriarch
Oh gosh, absolutely. Oh,
Pa
yeah.
With his eyes on the prize.
with his eyes on the
Why don't you give it
prize.
to your dad first, though?
Coming into Woodstock, Vermont. Now, Woodstock nice little town, I guess, with bumpy roads, by the way. I'm hand holding this, so sorry about the bumps. But anyway, Woodstock would have you believe that it's a typical Vermont town. But I'm here to tell you that this town is about as typical Vermont as most towns in New Jersey. It's a tourist trap, basically. Oh yeah. Well, rich people do live here. Rockefellers, let me see, the Woodstock Inn right over here was once, if not still, owned by the Rockefeller family. And then there's a place in town, just outside of town, called Billings Farm, which is a farm museum type of place, and they have cows there that are richer than some people in my hometown. And they give, you know, it's a farm and they give milk, but it's not a real farm, to my way of looking. Anyway, so we're passing through Woodstock. But it is a tourist trap, and everything here is expensive. What is it? They work hard, and they have rules and regulations about making sure it's quaint. So that's about all I can say about Woodstock. Up here, take a left and we'll almost be out of Woodstock, which of course is a shame, but that's the way life goes. Okay. Beautiful downtown Taftsville, Vermont. I wonder what's that place? Wow, is that a house up on the hill there? Wow, nice. There's a covered bridge. That's about all there is to Taftsville.
Well, I appreciate you watching this one, and hope you enjoyed it. I'll get this posted as quickly as I can, and heck, we'll see what develops. Thanks again for watching, and if you get a chance and you haven't already, wouldn't mind you giving me a like there somewhere, and maybe even subscribing if you haven't already. I appreciate it. Okay, thanks a lot.